Introduction: Thinking clearly under pressure. Close your eyes for a moment. Think about the last time you felt pressure. Maybe it was during an exam. Maybe it was in a job interview. Maybe someone was angry with you. Maybe you had money problems. Your heart was beating fast. Your hands felt cold. Your mind was full of thoughts. You wanted to think clearly, but you could not. This is pressure. Pressure is the feeling that something important is happening. It feels urgent. It feels serious. It feels heavy. Pressure is not always bad. Sometimes pressure helps us act. It gives us energy. It pushes us forward. But too much pressure changes us. It changes how we think. It changes how we speak. It changes how we decide. Under pressure, the body enters survival mode. Long ago, humans faced wild animals. They faced danger in nature. Their bodies learned to react fast, fight, run, or freeze. This system helped people stay alive. But today, we do not fight wild animals. Today, our pressure looks different. An exam paper, a job interview, a difficult boss, a family argument, an unpaid bill, a public speech. Our brain cannot see the difference. It reacts the same way. Your heart beats faster. Your breathing becomes short. Your muscles feel tight. Your mind feels crowded. You may speak too quickly. You may say something you regret. You may become silent, or you may become angry. Later you think, why did I say that? Why did I panic? I should have handled it better. This is very common. When we feel pressure, we often lose perspective. A small mistake feels like a disaster. A small problem feels very big. One negative comment feels like rejection. Our thoughts become extreme. This is terrible. I will fail. Everything is ruined. But often this is not true. Pressure also makes our thinking narrow. We stop seeing options. We stop seeing solutions. We only see danger. And when we cannot think clearly, we make poor decisions. We speak without thinking. We quit too early. We avoid important actions. We blame others, or we blame ourselves. Clear thinking is important because decisions shape our life. One angry message can damage a relationship. One calm response can save it. One rushed decision can create problems. One thoughtful decision can build success. Pressure will always exist. There will always be exams. There will always be interviews. There will always be conflict. There will always be uncertainty. The question is not, how can I remove pressure? The real question is, how can I think clearly when pressure comes? This book is about that skill. Yes, it is a skill, and skills can be trained. You were not born knowing how to stay calm. You learned how to speak. You learned how to walk. You learned how to read. In the same way, you can learn how to think clearly under pressure. Your mind is trainable. You can train your breathing. You can train your attention. You can train your reactions. You can learn to pause. You can learn to slow down. You can learn to choose your response. Many people believe calmness is personality. They say he is just a calm person. She was born confident, but calm thinking is not a gift. It is practice. Some people practiced more. That is all. You can stay calm even when others panic. You can control your voice. You can control your body. You can control your next action. Maybe you cannot control the situation, but you can control your response, and that changes everything. When you think clearly, you see more options. When you see more options, you make better choices. When you make better choices, your life improves. This book will guide you step by step. You will learn why pressure affects the body. You will learn how to pause before reacting. You will learn how to separate facts from emotions. You will learn how to decide even when you are unsure. You will learn how to stay calm when others panic. You do not need to be perfect. You do not need to remove fear completely. You only need to build space in your mind, a small space, a small pause. In that space, clarity grows. In that space, wisdom appears. In that space, you become stronger than pressure. Imagine facing a difficult moment. Your heart is beating fast, but this time, you notice it. You take one slow breath, you pause, you think, and then you choose your response. That moment changes your future. This is not about becoming cold. This is not about hiding emotions. It is about understanding them. It is about guiding them. Pressure does not have to control you. You can learn to stand steady. You can learn to remain clear. You can learn to lead yourself. And when you can lead yourself, you can lead others. This journey begins now. Take a slow breath and let us begin. Chapter 1. The problem of pressure. Pressure is not only in your mind, it is also in your body. When pressure comes, your body reacts first. It reacts before you think. It reacts before you choose. This reaction is very old. Long ago, humans lived in danger. There were wild animals. There were enemies. There was no police. There were no safe houses. If a lion appeared, there was no time to think slowly. The body had to decide fast. Fight, run away, or freeze and hide. This is called the survival response. Even today, your body still uses this system. When you feel pressure, your heart beats faster. Blood moves quickly through your body. Your breathing becomes shallow and fast. Your muscles become tight. Your hands may shake. Your mouth may feel dry. Your body is preparing for danger. But today, most danger is not physical. It is an exam paper. It is a job interview. It is a difficult conversation. It is a money problem. There is no lion, but your body reacts as if there is one. This system helped humans long ago. It saved lives. It gave energy and speed. But in modern life, it can create problems. When your heart beats too fast, it is hard to focus. When your breathing is short, your brain gets less oxygen. When your muscles are tight, you feel uncomfortable. And when the body is in survival mode, clear thinking becomes difficult. This is where problems begin. Under pressure, we often react instead of choose. A reaction is automatic. It happens quickly. It is emotional. Wise thinking is different. It is slower. It is careful. It looks at the full situation. Imagine someone criticizes you at work. If you react, you may speak loudly. You may say something hurtful. You may defend yourself without listening. Later you regret it. But if you think wisely, you pause. You listen first. You breathe. You ask a question. You respond calmly. The situation changes. The difference is small, but the result is big. Reactive thinking is controlled by emotion. Wise thinking is guided by awareness. When we are under pressure, emotions feel stronger. Anger feels hotter. Fear feels bigger. Shame feels heavier. The emotional brain becomes loud. The logical brain becomes quiet. That is why people say things like, "I don't know what I was thinking." In truth, they were not thinking clearly. They were reacting. Pressure also changes how we see problems. Small problems start to feel very big. A small mistake feels like total failure. One bad comment feels like everyone hates you. One delay feels like disaster. Fear makes everything larger. It adds extra meaning. You fail one question. Your mind says, "I will fail the whole exam." Your boss looks serious. Your mind says, "I will lose my job." But these thoughts are not facts. They are fear speaking. Pressure creates tunnel vision. Tunnel vision means you only see one small part. You stop seeing the bigger picture. When you are calm, you see options. You see solutions. You see different paths. When you panic, you only see danger. It is like standing in a dark tunnel. You see only what is in front of you. You forget that the tunnel has an exit. Another problem under pressure is the collapse of inner space. Inner space is the mental room where you think. It is the gap between something happening and your response. When you are calm, this space is wide. Someone says something unkind. You feel emotion. But there is space. You think. Then you speak. When you are under pressure, that space becomes small. Very small. Sometimes it disappears. Something happens. And you react immediately. No pause, no reflection. Everything feels urgent. You feel, I must answer now. I must decide now. I must fix this now. But often this urgency is not real. It is created by emotion. When inner space collapses, you may feel trapped. Your thoughts move fast. You cannot slow them down. You feel stuck between bad choices. You may think there is no good solution. But the problem is not always the situation. Sometimes the problem is the pressure. Let us look at a simple story. A student sits in an exam room. The teacher says, "You may begin." The student reads the first question. He does not understand it. His heart starts beating fast. His hands feel cold. He thinks, "This is too hard. I did not study enough. I will fail." His breathing becomes shallow. He looks at other students. They are writing quickly. He feels worse. Now his mind is full of fear. He reads the question again. But he cannot focus. The words look confusing. Time feels faster. Panic grows. This is pressure controlling the body and mind. Now imagine the same student trained his mind. He reads the first question. He does not understand it. His heart beats faster, but this time he notices it. He takes one slow breath, then another. He tells himself, "Calm down." Read slowly. He skips the first question. He moves to the second one. The second question is easier. He answers it. His confidence grows a little. His breathing becomes slower. After 10 minutes, he returns to the first question. Now his mind is clearer. He understands more than before. The exam did not change. The questions did not change, but his response changed. In the first situation, pressure closed his inner space. In the second situation, he protected it. Pressure is powerful. It affects the body. It affects emotions. It affects thinking. But pressure is not the enemy. The real problem is not understanding it. When you understand what is happening inside you, you gain power. You realize my fast heartbeat is normal. My fear is natural. My mind is trying to protect me. And when you understand this, you stop fighting yourself. Instead, you guide yourself. The problem of pressure is not that it exists. Pressure will always exist. The problem is automatic reaction. The problem is losing perspective. The problem is allowing fear to shrink your inner space. But as you will learn, inner space can grow again. You can slow your body. You can calm your breathing. You can create a pause. And in that pause, clear thinking returns. This is the beginning of control. Not control over the world, but control over yourself. And that is where true strength begins. Chapter 2. Reacting versus choosing. Every day things happen around you. Someone speaks, a message arrives, a mistake happens, a plan changes. These events are normal, but your reaction is not always normal. Sometimes it is fast. Sometimes it is emotional. Sometimes it creates problems. This is automatic reaction. An automatic reaction is a habit response. It happens without thinking. It feels natural. It feels quick. Someone speaks loudly to you. You speak loudly back. Someone criticizes your work. You defend yourself immediately. Someone ignores your message. You feel angry or hurt. In these moments, your brain is not asking, "What is the best action?" It is simply reacting. Automatic reactions often use emotional words. "You always do this." "This is unfair." "You don't respect me." These words come fast, but later regret comes too. You may think, "I should not have said that. I made the situation worse. I reacted too quickly." This is very common. Most people live in reaction mode. They believe they are choosing, but often they are only repeating habits. If you always become angry when criticized, that is a habit. If you always avoid conflict, that is a habit. If you always blame yourself, that is also a habit. Habits feel strong, but they are not permanent. Between an event and your reaction, there is something powerful. There is a pause. The pause is small, very small, but it changes everything. Imagine someone says, "Your work is not good enough." Your heart beats faster. Your face feels hot. In that moment, you have two paths. Path 1, react immediately. Path 2, pause. The pause can be 5 seconds. Just 5 seconds. Stop. Take one slow breath. Feel your feet on the ground. Do not speak yet. This small space makes a big difference. When you pause, your emotional brain becomes quieter. Your logical brain becomes stronger. The pause gives you control. Without the pause, emotion controls you. With the pause, you control your response. This idea is simple. Event, pause, response. The event is outside your control. The pause is inside your control. The response is your responsibility. Many people believe they cannot control their reaction. They say, "That's just who I am. I have a bad temper. I am too sensitive." But this is not completely true. You cannot always control your first feeling, but you can control your next action. This is called creating space between stimulus and response. A stimulus is something that happens. A response is what you do. Between these two, there is space. In that space, you choose. Let us look at a simple example. You are at work. Your manager says, "This report has many mistakes." You feel embarrassed. Your mind says, "That's not fair. He doesn't understand how hard I worked." If you react, you may say, "You didn't give me enough time." Now the conversation becomes defensive. But if you pause, things change. You take one breath. You ask yourself, what is the best action here? Instead of defending, you say, "Thank you for the feedback. Can you show me the mistakes?" Now the situation becomes productive. The difference is not intelligence. The difference is space. When you create space, you move from reaction to choice. Choice is power. Reaction is automatic. Choice is intentional. Reaction is emotional. Choice is guided. To choose wisely, you must ask better questions. In a difficult moment, ask yourself, what is the best action right now? What will help this situation? What will I be proud of later? These questions slow the mind. They shift your focus. Instead of protecting your ego, you focus on solving the problem. Choosing does not mean ignoring emotions. Emotions are important signals. Anger may show that something feels unfair. Fear may show that something feels risky. Sadness may show that something matters. But emotions should inform you. They should not control you. When you choose based only on emotion, the result is often short-term relief and long-term regret. When you choose based on values, the result is often short-term discomfort and long-term respect. Values are your principles. Honesty, respect, responsibility, patience, growth. When pressure comes, ask, which value do I want to follow? If someone is rude, your emotion may say, be rude back, but your value may say, stay respectful. If you make a mistake, your emotion may say, hide it, but your value may say, be honest. Choosing values over emotions is maturity. It does not mean you feel nothing. It means you act with intention. Now let us practice. This is a simple exercise. Think about a recent moment when you reacted badly. Close your eyes for a few seconds. See the situation again. What happened first? What did the other person say or do? Now notice your reaction. What did you feel? What did you say? What happened after? Now imagine the same situation again, but this time add a pause. The other person speaks. You feel emotion, but you take one slow breath. You count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now ask yourself, what is the best action? See yourself answering calmly. See yourself choosing your words carefully. How does the situation change? How do you feel afterward? This mental practice trains your brain. The more you practice pausing, the easier it becomes. At first, you may forget. You may still react quickly. That is normal. Change takes repetition, but each time you pause, you build strength. Each time you choose wisely, you build confidence. You begin to trust yourself. You realize I do not need to react to everything. I can stay steady. I can decide who I want to be in this moment. Reacting is easy. Choosing is powerful. Reacting follows habit. Choosing creates growth. Pressure will test you. It will try to push you into reaction. But remember this, you are not your first feeling. You are your next action. And in that action, your character is built. Every pause is a small victory. Every wise choice is a step forward. Over time, these small steps change your life. From reacting to choosing, from emotional impulse to intentional response, from regret to respect. The power is already inside you. You only need to use it. Chapter 3. Slowing the mind. When pressure comes, the mind becomes fast. Thoughts move quickly. One idea jumps to another. Fear adds more thoughts. You may feel like your mind is running, but a fast mind is not always a clear mind. When the mind is too fast, it becomes noisy. It becomes confused. It becomes tired. If you want to think clearly under pressure, you must first slow the mind. And the fastest way to slow the mind is to slow the body. The body and the mind are connected. When the body is tense, the mind feels tense. When the breathing is fast, the thoughts are fast. So we begin with something simple, breathing. When you feel stress, your breathing becomes shallow. It stays in your chest. It becomes quick. This tells your brain, danger is here. But when you slow your breathing, you send a new message. You tell your brain, I am safe. Try this. Breathe in slowly through your nose. Count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for a moment, then breathe out slowly through your mouth. Count to 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do this 3 times. You will notice something. Your heart begins to slow down. Your body feels softer. Your thoughts feel less heavy. Next, relax your shoulders. Under pressure, shoulders rise. They become tight. Gently lower them. Let your jaw relax. Unclench your teeth. Open your hands. These small changes tell your body, there is no lion here. Another powerful tool is speaking slower. When we are nervous, we speak fast. Fast speech increases anxiety. It makes others nervous too. Slow speech creates calm. Even if your heart is fast, you can slow your voice. Pause between sentences. Let silence exist for a moment. Silence is not weakness. Silence is control. When you regulate your body, your mind follows. Now let us talk about focus. When we feel pressure, we try to solve everything at once. We think about the future. We think about the past. We think about possible failure. We think about what others will say. The mind becomes full, but you do not need to solve everything now. You only need to take the next step, one step. That is all. If you are preparing for an exam, do not think, what if I fail the whole year? Think, what is the next question? If you have money problems, do not think, my life is ruined. Think, what is one action I can take today? Big problems feel heavy because we carry the whole weight at once. Instead, break them into small parts. If you need to write a report, do not think about the entire project. Think about the first paragraph. If you need to fix a relationship, do not think about the whole history. Think about one honest conversation. One step at a time reduces pressure. It gives you direction. Clarity grows when focus becomes narrow in a healthy way. Not tunnel vision from fear, but intentional focus. Now let us talk about outside noise. Your mind cannot stay calm if the world around you is loud. Phones, notifications, social media, people talking, news. All of this pulls your attention. Attention is energy. If you give it to everything, you have nothing left for clear thinking. Sometimes slowing the mind means changing the environment. Turn off your phone. Close extra tabs on your computer. Step away from the crowd. Go to a quiet room. Even 5 minutes of quiet can reset your nervous system. Protecting your attention is protecting your peace. Not every message needs an instant reply. Not every problem needs your opinion. Not every argument needs your voice. Choose carefully where you place your focus. Now we must talk about urgency. Under pressure, everything feels urgent. You feel, I must answer now. I must fix this immediately. This cannot wait. But not all urgency is real. There is true urgency and false urgency. True urgency is real danger. A fire, a medical emergency, a serious accident. These situations need fast action. But most modern stress is not life-threatening. It is emotional stress. An email from your boss, a disagreement with a friend, a deadline next week. These situations feel intense, but they are not life or death. In difficult moments, ask yourself, is this life-threatening? If the answer is no, you have time. Time to breathe. Time to think. Time to choose wisely. This question creates distance between fear and reality. It brings perspective back. Now let us practice together. This is a short practice script. You can use it anytime you feel pressure. Pause for a moment. Sit comfortably. Place both feet on the ground. Take one slow breath in and slowly breathe out. Again, slowly in, slowly out. Notice your shoulders. Let them relax. Notice your face. Soften your jaw. Now ask yourself, what is happening right now? Describe it simply. Do not add emotion, just facts. Now ask, is this life-threatening? If the answer is no, say quietly in your mind, I am safe. Take another slow breath. Now ask, what is the next small step? Not the whole solution, just the next step. See it clearly. Now say to yourself, I will take this one step calmly. When you open your eyes, begin with that step, nothing more. Slowing the mind is not weakness, it is discipline. It is strength under control. The world may move fast, people may panic, voices may become loud, but you can choose a different rhythm, a slower rhythm, a steadier rhythm. When your body is calm, your thinking improves. When your focus is clear, your actions become simple. When you protect your attention, your energy returns. And when you understand true urgency, fear loses power. The mind does not need to race to be effective. It needs clarity. And clarity grows in calm space. Slow the body. Focus on one step. Reduce noise. Question urgency. These are simple tools, but used together, they create powerful change. The storm outside may continue, but inside you can remain steady, and from that steadiness, good decisions are born. Chapter 4. Separating Facts from Emotions. When pressure comes, emotions become loud. Fear speaks quickly, anger speaks strongly, shame speaks quietly but deeply. In these moments, it is easy to believe that emotions are facts, but emotions are not facts. They are signals. They tell you something feels important. They tell you something feels wrong, but they do not always tell the full truth. To think clearly under pressure, you must learn to separate facts from emotions. The first step is simple. Name your feeling. Say it clearly in your mind. I feel afraid. I feel angry. I feel embarrassed. I feel disappointed. This may sound small, but it is powerful. When you name a feeling, you create distance from it. Instead of saying, "This situation is terrible," you say, "I feel afraid about this situation." Do you see the difference? In the first sentence, fear becomes reality. In the second sentence, fear becomes an emotion. Naming reduces power. It turns emotion into something you can observe. Imagine a child who is crying. If the child does not understand the feeling, the crying becomes louder. But when someone says, "You are feeling sad," the child feels understood. The crying often becomes softer. Your mind is similar. When you name your feeling, your emotional brain becomes calmer. You are saying to yourself, "I see you, I understand." And when emotion feels understood, it becomes less intense. After naming your feeling, the next step is checking assumptions. Pressure often creates stories in the mind. These stories feel real, but they may not be true. Ask yourself two questions. What do I know? What am I guessing? Let us look at an example. Your friend does not reply to your message. You feel hurt. Your mind says, "She is ignoring me. She is angry with me." But what do you actually know? You know she has not replied yet. That is a fact. Everything else is a guess. Maybe she is busy. Maybe her phone battery is dead. Maybe she is tired. When you check assumptions, you return to reality. Pressure pushes the mind to imagine the worst. Checking assumptions brings balance. Facts are simple. They are clear. They are neutral. Emotions add meaning. Clear thinking requires seeing the difference. Another helpful tool is neutral observation. This means looking at the situation like an outsider. Imagine you are watching a movie. You are not inside the scene. You are observing it. Describe what is happening without emotion. Instead of saying, "My boss hates me," say, "My boss said the report needs improvement." Instead of saying, "This meeting was a disaster," say, "Some people disagreed during the meeting." Neutral language creates calm. It removes drama. It removes exaggeration. When you describe facts neutrally, you give your brain space to think. You stop feeding the emotion. Neutral observation is like cleaning a window. When the window is dirty, everything looks unclear. When you clean it, you see the outside world clearly. Emotion is not bad, but when emotion controls the story, clarity disappears. Another important lesson is this: do not take everything personally. Under pressure, it is easy to believe that everything is about you. If someone looks serious, you think, did I do something wrong? If someone speaks loudly, you think, they are angry at me. But not all actions are about you. Other people have their own stress. They have their own fears. They have their own problems. They have their own pressure. A tired person may speak sharply. A stressed manager may sound impatient. A worried parent may seem distant. Their behavior may come from their own struggles. When you take everything personally, you carry extra weight. You feel attacked. You feel rejected. You feel blamed. But when you remember that others have their own battles, your heart becomes lighter. You respond with understanding, not defense. Now let us look at a real-life example. Anna works in an office. One morning, her manager says, "We need to talk about your performance." Anna feels afraid immediately. Her heart beats faster. In her mind, she says, "I am going to lose my job. I am not good enough." Her emotion is fear, but this time Anna remembers what she learned. She pauses. She says quietly in her mind, "I feel afraid." Just naming it helps her breathe more slowly. Then she asks, "What do I know?" She knows her manager wants to talk. That is all. Everything else is a guess. She asks, "What am I guessing?" She is guessing she will be fired, but there is no proof. Then she practices neutral observation. My manager asked for a meeting about my performance. That is the fact. Not, my manager thinks I am a failure. During the meeting, her manager says, "You are doing well in many areas, but we need to improve your time management." Anna feels embarrassed. Again, she names it. "I feel embarrassed." She listens carefully. She does not interrupt. She does not defend immediately. She asks, "Can you give me examples?" The conversation becomes constructive. Later, Anna learns that many employees had similar feedback. It was not personal. It was about growth. If Anna had believed her fear, she might have reacted emotionally. She might have argued. She might have cried. She might have shut down. Instead, she separated facts from emotions. And the result was positive. This skill changes everything. When you name feelings, they become manageable. When you check assumptions, you reduce fear. When you observe neutrally, you see clearly. When you stop taking everything personally, you feel lighter. Pressure creates emotional noise, but you do not need to believe every thought. You do not need to accept every story your mind creates. You can step back. You can observe. You can question. And in that space, clarity returns. Facts are calm. Emotions are strong. Both are part of life. But when facts guide your decisions and emotions inform you gently, you become balanced. You become steady. And under pressure, steadiness is power. Chapter 5. Deciding without certainty. Many people believe they need complete certainty before making a decision. They want full information. They want zero risk. They want a perfect answer. But life does not work this way. You will never know everything. There will always be unknown facts. There will always be possible risks. There will always be things you cannot control. Waiting for perfect clarity often leads to no action, and no action is also a decision. Under pressure, this becomes even harder. Your mind wants safety, it wants guarantees, but perfection is not possible. Even experts make decisions with incomplete information. Doctors do not know everything about a patient. Business leaders do not know the future of the market. Teachers do not know every question students will ask. They act with the best information available. Accepting incomplete information reduces stress. Instead of saying, I must be 100% sure, say, I will decide with what I know now. This creates calm. It moves you forward. Once you accept that certainty is rare, you need simple decision rules. Simple rules guide you when emotions are loud. Ask yourself what matters most here. Is it safety? Is it honesty? Is it long-term benefit? Is it respect? When you focus on what matters most, the choice becomes clearer. Imagine you are offered a new job. The salary is higher, but the company has a bad reputation. You feel confused. Ask, what matters most to me? If honesty and integrity are important, you may choose differently. Or imagine you are angry with a friend. You want to send a harsh message. Ask, what matters most? If the relationship matters, you may choose calm communication. Simple rules reduce confusion. Here are 3 powerful decision filters. Is it safe? Is it honest? Will it help me in the long term? These questions remove drama. They bring focus. Now let us talk about another important idea. Reversible and irreversible decisions. Not all decisions are equal. Some decisions can be changed later. Others cannot. If you choose a restaurant for dinner, you can go somewhere else next time. If you choose a shirt to wear, you can change it tomorrow. These are reversible decisions. They do not need long stress. But some decisions are bigger. Signing a long contract, quitting a stable job, moving to another country. These are harder to reverse. They need more thought. Under pressure, we often treat small decisions like big ones. We overthink simple choices, and sometimes we treat big decisions too casually. Clear thinking means knowing the difference. If a decision is small and reversible, do not waste too much energy. Decide and move. If a decision is large and hard to change, slow down, gather information, ask trusted people, sleep on it. This reduces regret. Another common problem under pressure is hesitation. Hesitation feels safe. You tell yourself, I will decide tomorrow. I need more time. Sometimes this is wise, but sometimes hesitation is fear. Fear of being wrong, fear of failure, fear of judgment. Staying in hesitation too long creates anxiety. Your mind stays busy. You replay options again and again. This drains energy. There is power in commitment. Once you decide, your mind becomes calmer. Energy shifts from thinking to doing. You may not have perfect certainty, but you have direction. Direction creates strength. Commitment does not mean stubbornness. It means choosing a path and walking it fully. And if you later learn new information, you can adjust. Life is flexible. Decision-making is not about being perfect. It is about moving forward wisely. Let us look at an example. David wants to start a small online business. He has ideas, he has some savings, but he feels afraid. What if it fails? What if people laugh? What if I lose money? He waits for certainty. Months pass. Nothing changes. One day he asks himself, what do I actually know? He knows he has basic skills. He knows he can start small. He asks, is this decision reversible? Yes. He can try for 6 months. If it does not work, he can stop. The risk is manageable. He then asks, what matters most? Growth, learning, long-term opportunity. So he decides, not with full certainty, but with enough clarity. He starts small. He adjusts as he learns. Some mistakes happen, but he improves. If he waited for perfect certainty, he would still be waiting. Now let us build a simple framework you can use anytime. First step, pause and breathe. Second step, ask, what do I know for sure? Write down facts only. Third step, ask what matters most. Choose 1 or 2 values. Fourth step, Ask, is this decision reversible or irreversible? If reversible, decide quickly. If irreversible, slow down. Fifth step, choose. Make a clear decision. Sixth step, take one action immediately. Small action builds confidence. Seventh step, review later. Ask, what worked? What can I adjust? This framework removes confusion. It gives structure to your thinking. You do not need perfect answers. You need thoughtful movement. Uncertainty is part of life. Even when you decide carefully, results are not guaranteed. But strong decision-making builds character. It builds trust in yourself. Over time, you stop fearing uncertainty. You understand something important. Clarity does not always come before action. Sometimes clarity comes after action. When you move, you learn. When you learn, you adjust. And through this process, you grow stronger. Under pressure, the goal is not perfect certainty. The goal is wise action. Accept incomplete information. Use simple rules. Understand the size of the decision. Commit, act, adjust. This is how steady people move through life, not without fear, not without doubt, but with courage and direction. And direction is more powerful than certainty. Chapter 6. Managing Collective Panic. Pressure is powerful when you are alone, but it becomes stronger in a group. When many people feel afraid at the same time, fear grows quickly. This is called emotional contagion. Contagion means something spreads, like a cold spreads in a room, like laughter spreads in a crowd. Emotions spread the same way. If one person becomes anxious, others begin to feel anxious. If one person starts shouting, voices become louder. If one person says, "This is a disaster," others may believe it. Fear spreads fast. Groups panic easily. Why? Because humans are social. Long ago, if one person ran from danger, others ran too. It was safer to follow the group than to stop and think. But today, this instinct can create chaos. In an office, one rumor can create stress. In a family, one angry voice can change the mood. In a team, one negative comment can lower confidence. When collective panic begins, clear thinking becomes rare. People talk over each other. They blame quickly. They imagine worst-case situations. In these moments, someone must remain steady. That someone can be you. To manage collective panic, you must stay anchored to principles. Ask yourself two simple questions. What do I believe? What is right? When others panic, they react emotionally. But if you know your values, you do not move so easily. If you believe in honesty, you do not spread rumors. If you believe in patience, you do not rush to blame. If you believe in responsibility, you look for solutions. Principles are like anchors. When the sea becomes rough, an anchor keeps the ship steady. Without principles, you drift with every wave. With principles, you remain grounded. But staying calm inside is not enough. You must also become a calm signal. People watch each other in stressful moments. They look for signs. Is this safe? Should I worry? Should I relax? Your body language sends messages. If you move quickly and speak loudly, others feel more tension. If you speak slowly, others slow down too. If you stand steady, others feel stability. If you make calm eye contact, people feel heard. You do not need to give a long speech. Sometimes one calm sentence is enough. Let's take a moment. We will handle this step by step. There is a solution. Speak slowly. Pause between sentences. Lower your voice slightly. Silence can be powerful. In a room full of noise, a calm voice stands out. Being a calm signal does not mean ignoring problems. It means responding with balance. It means not adding more fuel to the fire. Another important skill is filtering other people's chaos. When someone is emotional, their energy is strong. They may speak quickly, they may use dramatic words, they may blame or complain. If you are not careful, you absorb their emotion. Your heart beats faster, your thoughts become heavy. But you do not need to carry every emotion in the room. Listen carefully, hear the facts, separate facts from emotion. If someone says, "This project is a complete failure," you can ask calmly, "What exactly is not working?" This shifts the focus. You are not rejecting their feeling, but you are not absorbing their chaos. Protecting your inner peace is not selfish. It is necessary. If everyone in the room is emotional, who will think clearly? You can care without carrying everything. You can listen without losing yourself. Now let us look at a simple story. A small company is facing a problem. A big client cancels a contract. The office becomes tense. One employee says, "This is terrible. We are going to lose money." Another says, "Maybe the company will close." Fear spreads quickly. People begin talking in small groups. Voices rise. Blame begins. In the middle of this, Maria, the team leader, walks into the room. She feels the tension. Her heart beats faster too, but she pauses. She takes one slow breath. She reminds herself, what do I believe? She believes in teamwork. She believes in calm leadership. She believes in solving problems step by step. She stands straight. She speaks slowly. "I understand everyone is worried," she says. "Yes, this is difficult, but we will handle it together." Her voice is steady. She makes eye contact with her team. "First," she says, "let's look at the facts." She writes on the board, "Client A canceled the contract. This will reduce our income by 20%. She continues calmly, "Now what can we do?" The room becomes quieter. People begin to think. Instead of panic, there is discussion. Someone suggests finding new clients. Another suggests reducing temporary costs. The energy shifts. The problem is still there, but the chaos is smaller. Later, one employee tells Maria, "When you walked in calmly, I felt better." Maria did not remove the problem. She managed the panic. She anchored herself to principles. She became a calm signal. She filtered the chaos. You may not always be the leader of a company, but in your family, in your friend group, in your workplace, you can influence the emotional tone. When children argue, your calm voice changes the room. When friends panic about news, your balanced words reduce fear. When colleagues stress about deadlines, your steady focus helps them concentrate. Collective panic is powerful, but calm presence is stronger. Fear spreads fast, but stability spreads too. When you manage your own state, you help others manage theirs. You do not need to control everyone. You only need to control yourself. Stay anchored to what is right. Speak slowly, stand steady, make eye contact, listen carefully, filter emotion, protect your inner peace. In a world where many people react quickly, the calm person becomes valuable. Under pressure, the steady mind becomes leadership, and leadership begins with managing yourself when everyone else feels shaken. Chapter 7. Training for Clarity. Clarity under pressure is not luck, it is training. Just like muscles grow with exercise, clear thinking grows with practice. You do not become calm only when a crisis comes. You prepare before the crisis. Training for clarity happens in daily life. Small actions, simple habits, repeated again and again. The first training tool is reflection. Many people make mistakes, but they do not learn from them. They feel regret, they feel shame, then they move on. But reflection turns mistakes into lessons. After a difficult situation, pause and ask yourself, what worked? What failed? Be honest. Did you react too fast? Did you speak without thinking? Did you stay silent when you should speak? Also ask, what did I do well? Did I pause? Did I stay respectful? Did I control my tone? Reflection is not self-attack, it is self-education. When you review your behavior calmly, you become wiser. Imagine you had an argument with a friend. Later that night, instead of replaying the anger, you reflect. You say, I became defensive too quickly. I did not listen fully. Next time, you will notice faster. Without reflection, you repeat patterns. With reflection, you improve patterns. You can even write your thoughts in a notebook. Short sentences are enough. Situation, reaction, lesson. This builds awareness. The second training tool is small discomfort. Many people avoid discomfort. They choose comfort all the time, but comfort does not build strength. Small discomfort builds mental endurance. You do not need extreme challenges. Simple actions are enough. Take a cold shower for 30 seconds. Your body will feel uncomfortable. Your mind will say, stop, but you stay. You breathe slowly. You remain steady. This teaches your brain that discomfort is not danger. Or practice public speaking. Maybe you feel nervous speaking in front of others. Start small. Speak in a small group, then a larger group. Each time your heart will beat faster, but you will survive. You will learn that fear does not control you. Small discomfort builds confidence. When bigger pressure comes, your mind remembers. I have handled discomfort before. Mental strength grows through controlled challenges. If you never challenge yourself, pressure will always feel new and frightening. Another important training area is protecting your mental energy. Clarity requires energy. If you are always tired, your thinking becomes weak. Sleep is not luxury, it is necessity. When you sleep well, your brain repairs itself. Your emotions become balanced. When you lack sleep, small problems feel bigger. Anger rises faster, focus decreases. Healthy habits also matter. Drink enough water, eat balanced meals, move your body. Exercise reduces stress hormones. It improves mood. These simple habits create a strong foundation. Without a strong body, clear thinking becomes harder. Another modern challenge is information overload. News, social media, messages, videos, notifications. Your brain was not designed to process endless information. Too much input creates mental noise. Mental noise reduces clarity. Limit what you consume. You do not need every update. You do not need every opinion. Choose carefully. Protect your attention. Attention is like money. Spend it wisely. When your mental energy is protected, you think more clearly. The final and powerful training tool is building identity around stability. How you see yourself changes how you act. If you believe, I panic easily, your behavior will follow. But if you begin to say, I am calm under pressure, your mind starts to adjust. At first, it may not feel true. That is normal. Identity grows through repetition. Repeat the belief quietly. I am calm under pressure. I think before I speak. I stay steady when others panic. Say it in the morning. Say it before difficult meetings. Say it before exams. But words alone are not enough. You must act like a stable person. Stable people breathe slowly. Stable people listen fully. Stable people speak clearly. Stable people do not rush every decision. Each time you act calmly, even in a small situation, you strengthen your identity. Imagine two people in a stressful meeting. One thinks, I always get nervous. The other thinks, I handle pressure well. Their bodies may feel similar stress, but their behavior will be different. Identity guides action. Over time, repeated calm actions become natural. You no longer force yourself to stay steady. It becomes part of you. Training for clarity is daily work. It is reflection after mistakes. It is small discomfort on purpose. It is protecting sleep and energy. It is limiting noise. It is building a stable identity. None of these steps are dramatic. They are simple. But simple actions repeated create powerful results. You do not train clarity only during crisis. You train it when life is normal. You train it in small conversations. You train it in daily habits. You train it in how you speak to yourself. And slowly something changes. Pressure does not disappear, but your reaction changes. You notice emotions faster. You pause more naturally. You recover more quickly. Others begin to trust you. They see stability. They feel safe around you. Clarity under pressure is not a talent. It is preparation. When you reflect, you learn. When you accept discomfort, you grow. When you protect energy, you strengthen. When you build identity, you transform. Day by day, step by step. Until one day in a truly difficult moment, you realize something important. You are no longer fighting pressure. You are guiding it. And that is the result of consistent training. Chapter 8. Building Trust and Leadership. Clear thinking under pressure does not only help you, it also affects the people around you. When you stay calm, others notice. When you react wisely, others feel safe. Over time, this builds something powerful: trust. And trust is the foundation of leadership. Leadership is not only about position, it is not only about titles. You can be a leader in your family, in your workplace, in your group of friends. Leadership begins with consistency. Consistency means you behave the same way in calm moments and stressful moments. Anyone can be kind when life is easy. Anyone can speak softly when there is no problem. But pressure reveals character. If you are calm one day and angry the next day, people feel unsure. If you promise patience but react with shouting, people lose trust. People trust stable people. They trust those who are predictable in a positive way. If others know that you will listen, even during conflict, they feel secure. If others know that you will not panic during difficulty, they feel supported. Consistency builds reliability. Reliability builds trust. Trust builds leadership. When people trust you, they come to you for advice. They listen to your words, they follow your direction, not because they must, but because they want to. Another important truth is this: emotional control creates influence. Influence is the ability to affect others. Under pressure, emotions spread quickly. We learned this earlier. If you panic, others panic. If you stay calm, others begin to calm down. Your calm becomes a signal. In a crisis, people look for stability. They look at faces. They listen to tone. They observe posture. If you control yourself first, you influence the room. Leaders control themselves before controlling others. They do not shout to create order. They create order by being steady. Imagine a family situation. There is a sudden problem at home. Something breaks. Plans change. One person begins to complain loudly. Another becomes angry. Children feel confused. But one person speaks slowly. "It's okay," they say. "We will fix this step by step." That calm voice lowers tension. People breathe again. Solutions become possible. Leadership is often quiet. It does not always require long speeches. Sometimes it is a steady presence. But emotional control is not enough. Communication matters too. Under pressure, communication often becomes messy. People speak too fast. They use long explanations. They blame. They exaggerate. Clear and honest communication is different. Use short sentences, simple words, clear instructions. If there is a problem at work, say, "We lost one client. We need 3 new leads. Let's divide the tasks." No drama, no extreme language. Instead of saying, "This is a complete disaster," say, "This is difficult, but we can solve it." Simple communication reduces fear. It focuses on action. Honesty is also important. Do not hide problems, but do not exaggerate them either. Balanced truth builds respect. If you make a mistake, say it clearly. "I made an error. I will correct it." People respect honesty more than perfection. And this brings us to the final skill, the ability to self-correct. No one is perfect under pressure. Even calm people make mistakes. Even leaders have bad days. The difference is how they respond. Weak leaders protect their ego. They blame others. They deny mistakes. Strong leaders admit mistakes. They say, "I was wrong. I reacted too quickly." This does not reduce authority. It increases it. Admitting mistakes shows confidence. It shows maturity. After admitting a mistake, adjust quickly. Do not stay in shame. Learn. Change your behavior. Move forward. For example, imagine you reacted angrily in a meeting. Later you realize it was not helpful. The next day you say, "Yesterday I spoke too quickly. I apologize. Let's continue calmly." This simple act builds respect. People see that you value growth. Self-correction also means continuous learning. Ask yourself regularly, what can I improve? How can I communicate better? How can I stay steadier next time? Growth keeps leadership strong. Without learning, confidence becomes pride, and pride leads to mistakes. Let us look at a workplace example. A team faces a tight deadline. Stress is high. Some employees begin to argue. Voices rise. Accusations begin. The team leader feels pressure too. Her heart beats fast. She wants to shout, but she pauses. She breathes. She remembers her identity. "I am calm under pressure." She speaks clearly. "Stop for a moment. We will not solve this by shouting. Let's focus on the deadline." Her tone is steady. She listens to each person. She writes tasks on the board, short sentences, clear steps. Later, she notices she missed an important detail. Instead of hiding it, she says, "I forgot to assign this task. That was my mistake. I will fix it." The team sees her honesty. The deadline is still difficult, but trust remains strong. After the project ends, one employee says, "Even when things were stressful, you stayed calm. That helped all of us." This is leadership, not perfection, not control through fear, but consistency, emotional control, clear communication, self-correction. Building trust in leadership does not require a special title. It requires inner stability. When you think clearly under pressure, you become a source of strength. Others feel it. They respond to it. In difficult times, people remember who stayed steady. They remember who spoke calmly. They remember who admitted mistakes. Trust grows slowly, one action at a time, one calm response at a time, one honest conversation at a time. And as trust grows, your influence grows. You become someone others rely on, not because you are perfect, but because you are consistent. Under pressure, many people lose control, but you can choose differently. You can stay steady. You can communicate clearly. You can correct yourself. And through these actions, you build something greater than success. You build trust. And trust is the true foundation of leadership. Pressure will always exist. There will always be deadlines, unexpected news, difficult conversations, financial uncertainty, competition, mistakes, and moments when the ground beneath your feet feels unstable. The world does not slow down because you feel overwhelmed. Events do not pause simply because you need more time. But here is the truth that changes everything. You do not control events. You control your response, and that is enough. Throughout this book, we have not tried to remove pressure from your life. That would be impossible. Instead, we have focused on something far more powerful, training your mind to remain clear when pressure appears. Pressure is not your enemy. Untrained reaction is. When pressure comes, your body will still react. Your heart may beat faster. Your thoughts may speed up. Emotions may rise. This is human. This is natural. This is biology doing its job. But now you understand something most people never fully realize. Between the event and your response, there is space. In that space lies your power. You have learned to pause. You have learned to breathe. You have learned to separate fact from fear. You have learned to slow the mind and calm the body. You have learned to choose principles over impulse. You have learned to decide even without perfect certainty. You have learned to stand steady when others panic. You have learned to build an identity rooted in stability. This is not theory. This is practice. Pressure will knock on your door again. It may arrive tomorrow. It may arrive tonight. It may arrive in a meeting, during an exam, inside a relationship, or in a moment of sudden crisis. When it comes, something different will happen. Instead of collapsing into reaction, you will notice the feeling. Instead of being pulled by emotion, you will observe it. Instead of rushing to speak, you will pause. Instead of assuming the worst, you will check the facts. Instead of freezing, you will choose the next small step. This is the identity shift. You are no longer a reactive person. You are a thoughtful one. You are no longer controlled by panic. You operate from clarity. You are no longer led by fear. You lead yourself. And when you can lead yourself, you can lead others. Think about who you used to be under pressure. Maybe you rushed your words. Maybe you avoided decisions. Maybe you replayed mistakes again and again in your mind. Maybe small problems felt enormous. Maybe you felt trapped inside urgency. That version of you was not weak. That version of you was untrained. Now you understand that calmness is not personality. It is skill. Clear thinking is not luck. It is discipline. Leadership is not loud. It is stable. The transformation from reactive to thoughtful does not happen in one dramatic moment. It happens in small, repeated decisions. The decision to pause for 5 seconds. The decision to take one slow breath. The decision to ask, what is actually true? The decision to focus on the next step only. The decision to act according to values instead of emotions. Small choices, repeated daily. This is how clarity becomes natural. From panic to clarity is not about eliminating fear. Fear may still visit you, but fear will no longer control you. You will feel it and still think clearly. You will feel stress and still act wisely. That is strength. From fear to leadership is not about controlling others. It is about mastering yourself. In a room full of anxious people, the calm person becomes the center. In a team facing uncertainty, the stable person becomes the guide. In a family under stress, the grounded person becomes the anchor. You do not need a title to lead. You need emotional control. And emotional control begins with self-awareness. Remember this: Every time you stay calm under pressure, you are strengthening a neural pathway. Every time you choose clarity over impulse, you are training your brain. Every time you respond with steadiness instead of chaos, you are building identity. I am calm under pressure. This is no longer just a sentence. It is a direction, a standard, a commitment. You will not be perfect. There will be days when you react too quickly. There will be moments when emotion wins. That is human. But now you have the tools to recover. You can pause after reacting. You can admit mistakes. You can correct your course. You can learn and improve. Growth is not about never falling. It is about standing up faster each time. Clear thinking is a skill. Skills grow with practice. Athletes train their muscles. Musicians train their fingers. Pilots train for emergencies. Leaders train for crisis. And now you are training your mind. Imagine yourself 1 year from now facing a situation that would have once overwhelmed you. Instead of chaos, there is steadiness. Instead of confusion, there is structure. Instead of emotional explosion, there is measured response. Not because life became easier, but because you became stronger. Pressure is not designed to destroy you. It reveals what is untrained. And when you train your mind, pressure becomes an opportunity to demonstrate strength. You are stronger than pressure, not because you avoid it, not because you ignore it, but because you can meet it calmly. From reactive to thoughtful, from panic to clarity, from fear to leadership. This is the path you have walked through these pages, and it does not end here. Every conversation is practice. Every decision is training. Every stressful moment is an opportunity to apply what you have learned. The calm mind is not a destination. It is a way of operating. Carry this with you. When others rush, slow down. When others shout, speak clearly. When others panic, observe. When uncertainty rises, focus on the next step. When emotion floods the room, protect your inner space. You do not need to control the storm. You need to remain steady within it. Pressure will always exist, but so will your power to respond. And that power, quiet, discipline, practice, will shape your future more than any external event ever could. You are not at the mercy of pressure. You are the calm mind within it.